Hello, brother. These are my solo jiu-jitsu drills I like to do that you can just do in a small space. 12 movements, a minute 30 each. I'll just start a timer for 12 rounds of 90 seconds each, a minute 30 each, and just let it keep going. So there's no actual rest, but I like to just try to keep moving. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want, and I'll adjust the moves to be like, am I going more cardio with them? Am I doing them more stretchy? I usually use them just to like move around, move my body, work on little bits of technique, stretch areas, just basically look for good movement. And I end up working up a sweat, but I sweat a lot. I use them to warm up, or if I'm alone, I just want kind of jiu-jitsu-y movements to get good at that translate well to actual rolling. First thing I always start with is what I've always just called the warrior get up. Just the basic jiu-jitsu, I think, foundational movement for your grappling. Just coming up here. Just rolling up and down, switching sides. Nice and easy. When I do this, the main thing I always use as a detail to show people is that whichever leg you're coming over, you suck that leg into your butt as tight as you can, and then this leg will help pull you up while you use a little to get yourself up, and you roll over that back leg and forward. I think this is one of the most important movements in jiu-jitsu because when you're sweeping and you're switching from positions, you got to come from bottom to top. You need to be able to very quickly come bottom to top. Okay? So you can go fast, you can go slow. 90 seconds of this. You can just hang out and stretch. And sometimes that's what I'll do. I'll turn it into a little flow thing. I come forward. I might stretch here a little bit if that feels good. But really the main thing is just this warrior get up. Coming up into a nice 3-point stance. And I like to emphasize too, making sure I'm coming up from these back positions to a strong forward position where I'm not here, where I'm just going to get knocked down again, coming forward and over into these strong positions. Second, I'll just do flow shots, right? Wrestling, penetration step shots. I emphasize changing levels first, right? And then stepping forward and rolling down over your knee and stepping up and coming up. When you go faster with them, obviously, you can go, feel like wrestling with it, really wrestling. If you want, you can go fast like that. Or I've started focusing more on, again, changing levels early. I used to do this a lot. I'd come forward and roll down over my knee. I'm still not great at shots, but I find a lot more luck when I change levels first and then step forward and then over my knee and up to the outside, standing up into my double leg. That's it, just flow shots for 90 seconds. Feeling good, good posture, changing my levels. You can come down really low, changing your levels, forward, shots. Just doing that. The third round is technical stand-up. I would say this is then right there with warrior get-ups, maybe more so. One of the most important things, right? Just here, opposite arm, opposite foot are basing out. Watching with this hand to stiff arm people or block incoming kicks and punches. And coming out to the outside and standing up. You can get really core intensive with it if you want. Where you're coming up and going, whoo, swinging through all the way to here. But I don't find that realistic for how I use it when I fight. I want to go small moves that I can base up from as I go. So use it how you want. But that's it. Working on this, coming back up, and then you can break, fall down. Here, tactical stand up. You can do the old Gracie style of a kick first if you want, but usually just keep moving up and down. Opposite arm, opposite foot, up, scoop underneath with a good posture, then you can stand up from here. Fourth one is more of a stretchy one called animal flow to a reaching bridge. This one's got the most moving parts, but it feels the nicest as like it's a general stretching thing, I think. Here's the flow I like to do. I start in what's called beast, usually, this 4-point stance with my knees off the ground. I'm here, and I will pick a side, and I'm gonna kick one leg through all the way until I'm touching the ground. I'll bump with my butt, and then I'm gonna stretch up from here into a reaching bridge. And you could just do that if you want to. Just go here, back to square, and then through to the other side, and a reaching bridge, And then what I like to usually add in is flip the dog thing, right? Reach up to the bridge, and then on the way back, I will keep the same leg up and come up here and do single leg down dog, stretch my hip open until I come down over here, and reaching bridge again. And then I'll come back to the center, kick back to the squared up, and then start the other side. Where I come through here, reaching bridge, having fun, feeling good, wherever it feels like you want to stretch, coming all the way through to a big stretch in the hip opener until this wants to open up. Come down again, reaching bridge this side. Kick back over to our starting position of that beast quadruped position. That's my little animal flow. And again, fast, slow, stretchy, cardio-y, whatever you want to do. Fifth, we're shrimping. Just the basic shrimp or hip escape, whatever you want to call it. I know some people disambiguate those in different ways, but I kind of just put everything, all my variations in the same one. Again, foundational jiu-jitsu movement, right? The difference is I'm just going to do it in place. A lot of times you'll cross the floor with these when you do your jiu-jitsu warm-ups. We're not going to cross the floor. We're just going to do them in place. So I'm going to pick a side that I'm going to shrimp. That leg stays down. That leg plants. The other leg flattens out. And I'm going to pivot right on my shoulder while I punch down. Hips come far away. And then I'm just going to scooch them right back with a reverse shrimp to the center and switch sides. Variations here are, you can just get really efficient with your shrimping. The big thing is your hips need to come away. And I usually think like for a functional fighting shrimp, whatever, I think about like being stuck in a hole or like in a tunnel. Like what if I was stuck like a giant in a tunnel and I had to get my butt out of it? I would think about, I can't get my knee out here. I'd have to turn on my side really hard and try to take off tight jeans. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the same thing here. Take off my tight jeans is the foundational idea of the shrimp. The other shrimp variation to think about with your warm-ups is more of a core one, kind of workout-y, but also more gets into some inversion stuff and becomes useful, I think, oddly for some applications of like butterfly sweeping and stuff, is getting used to posting really hard up high on your shoulder and head a little bit, and the other leg, something more like this. Where my ass is coming off the ground. And so those are the two things. And you're gonna shrimp for 90 seconds, just in place like that. Superman bridges are next. This is our 6th movement for 90 seconds. Superman bridges, very wrestlery kind of thing. The place I use this in actual rolling the most is side control. If I'm stuck under the bottom of side control and I need to come out the bottom. Superman bridge is just gonna be this. I'm gonna basically bridge up and I'm gonna turn over one shoulder and head. One arm goes down and the other one Superman's out like this. You know, like you're going Superman, like flying. Where he does that, one arm. So you're just gonna bridge over. So your feet are gonna start close to your butt. Superman bridge. Turning. Like that. And you use that mostly, it comes up for me from a lot of places of scrambles, but most commonly in escape from bottom side control, where I've got a crossface or something like that. I manage to scooch this arm out underneath his hips. I'm blocking the hip. I scooch him as high on my chest as I can go. And then when I'm ready to escape, you go bop, like here. And usually then I want to think about kicking down over, because that'll either put me in a position to finish. Sometimes you can get darces and anaconda kind of stuff from there, finish those chokes, or single arm guillotines, or just head and arm control, headlock position, front headlock position. And sometimes it just gets you to switch your hips over. Because I think that's another common thing, just getting used to this gator roll stuff where like I'm trying up top, but I finish with my hips turning over. And if your hips turn over, the upper body will follow. But yeah, Superman bridges, getting a little bit of neck strengthening, head stuff. I'm mostly just turning, stretching my low back, my upper body, and practicing that turn. All right, next, 4-way static roll. I imagine I have 2 circles that my hands go in. Where I put my hands, I want to think about that they can't move through the movement. Again, so I can stay in one place the whole time. Basically, I'm going to do a forward roll over a shoulder, And then I'm gonna go back over the other shoulder. And then the same thing, forward and back. Forward, other shoulder, and back, right? Just staying in place, so I'm not moving here. You can go over the same shoulder there and back, here, back over the right, and then left, and then over the left. But the more you can do it, I mean, if you can do it really slow, usually means you've got some good core control starting to happen. Right? And so you can go slow, fast, and you're turning one head to the side, turning your head to one side and rolling over your shoulder so you're not going over your neck hard. And we're starting to get into some stuff that sets us up for our next move. Okay, after that, we're gonna stay in the rolls and inversion stuff. Plow roll, the next 90 seconds. Plow roll is just touching your toes, and then plow, touch your toes. Forward and back. And you can do whatever you want here. I can hang out inverted, straight plow. I can drop my knees, trying to see how flat I can get, spend some time here. I can spend time more here in my hamstrings and toes. Ugh. But whatever you want. I just like to move, stay loose, make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the back of your neck, make sure that the stretch is staying in a strong stack position. But then, you know, you can play with that, right? Because you're just stretching by yourself. If you want to spend some time here. For me, it just prepares my body for the weird positions that you get in grappling. People try to stack you really hard and stuff like that. And for what we're going to do next, Grambies and things like that. After plow roll, I will move into what I call Gummy Bears. I just call them Gummy Bears because I always thought I felt like a gummy bear. I think when you see bears like playing at the zoo or something like that, just flopping around and rolling, that's what it felt like when I would do it. It felt like a real gummy bear, and I want to keep that kind of relaxation through my body. The functional use of gummy bear is basically like a guard recomposition, a halfway guard recomposition. It's a little like breakdancing move. It looks like this. This one takes up a little bit more space. And it's, you can do this kind of with a partner sometimes too, where you come up and your feet are on the guard and they throw your legs to the side, and you're gonna stack your own shoulder up and back down, where you're trying to put your hips between them. You're turning this circular movement like a clock face and getting your hips up over your head from sideways to hips coming up forward into a guard. So you're just doing that nice and easy, just having fun, rolling around like a gummy bear. Gummy bear, and up, gummy bear, and up, rolling around, gummy bear, and up. Again, stacking on your shoulders, not your neck. Hips getting up like you're trying to recompose a guard, get your hips in front of the person. If they stack you to the side, right, they're gonna pass you really easy. So I need to be able to shrug up and get my hips between them and me and back in front. So I've got a guard recomposition from a pass attempt. The next move, I just keep doing gummy bears, but I add a warrior get up to it. So it looks like this, gummy bear around, and then comes right into a get up. Gummy bear around, right into a get up. And this is getting into some of those ideas again of just being prepared that your body changes from bottom to top position very easily. And then up and up. Okay, you can do this however you want. You can practice it where the swinging leg sucks into your butt like that. You can practice it where the pressing leg sucks into your butt like that. Gummy bear with a warrior get up. Okay, now we're gonna do a Gramby with the warrior get up. Grambies become tricky, but they're really important and fun. And it's basically building off that gummy bear thing where instead of the full sideways thing, we're just gonna start Grambying. A Gramby roll is hard to explain. It takes a little time to get used to. The way I've started to visualize it is as if I was touching my toes and trying to stay in a cylinder this way and then rolling, right? And ending up in this position. Sometimes it helps people to start, if Grambies feel weird, to do a half Gramby, where you just roll into a plow position and then forward. Plow position like this, and then forward to the opposite side. This version that I like to do for this thing is I will do a full Gramby into that warrior get up. Full Gramby into the warrior get up. Granby is one that takes a little bit of practice. A good thing to do is you can do it on the wall. Sometimes it helps people if you're having trouble. See if I can do it on the couch here, see if it makes sense. Where you put your feet on the wall, you stay close to the wall, and then I try to Granby by crawling over the wall, keeping my feet on the wall and coming around. Sometimes it helps people visualize it, but Granbys are super important. Wrestly, scrambly, recomposition move, especially for developing a slippery bottom game. Now we're on our 12th final move. After Granby Warrior Get Up, I like to do what's called the Ninja Get Up, and these can be challenging. They're kind of like one you might build up to, but they're a good like little mobility test. Again, I think one of the most important things about getting good at jiu-jitsu from your physical attribute standpoint, your movement standpoint, the structure of your posture is being able to move from bottom to top positions quickly. It also means level changes quickly. And ninja get-ups are really good for this. All a ninja get-up is I'm gonna roll on my back, right into a squat and stand up. Down and up and up. It's basically a rolling version of a kip up, right? A kip up would be going right into it, which you can also do if you have fun. If you want to be a little bitch, you can go kip up right into a push up, right into a kip up, to a burpee and back down. But the chill version is just coming up and standing up and down. There's versions you can do one-legged, ooh, right? That's fun. Use that momentum to help you and stand up and back down. Pistols, basically rolling right up into a ninja get up. If you're having difficulty getting in the position, almost always the thing is this: your feet, your heels are not close enough to your butt. I will never be able to do a squat up, rolling up like this. I'm never gonna get there. I need these to be close enough that when I have the posture, my feet can be underneath me. Sometimes this means having enough room for your hips as well. If you find at the bottom of your squat, you don't have room, you're all jammed up here for your hips to come through, you need to have enough space that your hips can come through. I can be under it in this little baby squat so I can stand up and I can roll down and I can stand back up. Some things that'll help with this sometimes, if the core strength in the middle of the transition is still not quite there, like the slower you go, ooh, the harder it is, right? There's a little extra momentum. Up. Hands far forward will help, thinking about your head through. And then sometimes, if you grab a little weight, ironically, adding some weight to it will help, because if I punch forward, the weight will help pull me through. And then I stand up and then back down. And then another thing you can do to work on that is find a couch or a post or a bench or whatever you got around you that's stable, and then you use that to help you. You come down, you get this, and you use that to pull you forward. If I can come through and help it pull you up and crawl up and down to start building that flexibility. Anyway, there you go. Those 12 moves, even just demonstrating, I got a little glow going, but I sweat easily. 90 seconds each round, so it takes 18 minutes total for those 12 movements. And I find that to be a really nice little warm-up mini workout. Makes me feel pretty good and pretty primed for jiu-jitsu. And I like that those movements also, they tend to, they prepare me, I think. They mimic useful functional movements in actual live sparring. If you can think about the situations where those movements apply during your sparring, it becomes helpful too, because then you start to visualize them, right? If I'm in guard or something like that, I'm in a weird position I don't like, and I'm trying to reverse the position, I'm in a scramble here, I'm stiff arming a guy out, but I'm getting used to, if I'm here, this doesn't work, right? But if I'm practicing my technical stand-up, where now the pressure's coming through and it goes straight through my bones into the ground like a railroad tie, I feel really solid here, and then I can build my way up into a strong position, and now I can shift my hips forward, and now I've got these more obtuse angles pushing against the guy. It's really easy to come up here and shoot back into them and win a little wrestly scramble. There you have it. Sleeper Bros standard solo drilling. Well, 18 minutes of fun. All right, I love you. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.